I have developed skills of ensuring that a case backlog has been reduced through case management, through stakeholder engagement, and also ensuring that we work together as a team.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Ireri, I'll ask you one or two questions. You indicate in your letter that you've now been a magistrate for a period of 19 years.
Yes, Commissioner.
And of course, you serve in the magistrate's court.
Yes, yes, Commissioner.
And above you is the High Court, and then from the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and finally the Supreme Court. How does one invoke the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal?
Thank you, Commissioner. The jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal will be invoked where probably somebody has appealed in the High Court and they are not satisfied with the decision of the High Court. So the law allows them to appeal to the Court of Appeal.
So how do you move the Court of Appeal?
By filing a memorandum of appeal. I don't know whether I get the question right.
Yes, well, maybe I can break it down further.
Yes.
So you've had a matter at High Court and you're not satisfied and you want to go to the Court of Appeal by way of an appeal. What do you do? What are the initial steps that you take?
Commissioner, maybe I need some clarification in terms of whether I'm a litigant or
You could be a litigant acting in person, or you could be counsel acting on behalf of a litigant.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're asking there?
You are dissatisfied with the judgment of the High Court and you want to go to the Court of Appeal by way of an appeal. How do you move the Court of Appeal?
I believe you seek for leave to appeal to the Court of Appeal.
You know, I want you to tell us what you know, but not what you believe in, eh?
Okay.
Let's try to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you do? How do you move the Court of Appeal?
You move the Court of Appeal by filing a record of appeal.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there time limit within which you must file that record of appeal?
The record of appeal should be filed within 14 days after the decision of the High Court.
Is it practical for that record of appeal to be available within those 14 days?
It may not be practical
At times, because you may realize that probably it may take some time before a litigant gets the proceedings from the Court of Appeal, from the High Court, sorry.
I think you really need to familiarize yourself with the rules, the Court of Appeal rules, because you know the fact that you work in the judiciary.
Yes.
I expected you that that would be a very simple question for you.
I'm most guided.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, and welcome again, Mr. Nyaga. Now, when you become a judge, if you're successful in this application, and you become a judge of the High Court, the High Court has the responsibility of interpreting the Constitution. I want you to tell us what is the duty of the High Court in applying the provisions of the Bill of Rights and of interpreting the Bill of Rights.
Thank you, my lady. The duty of the High Court in interpreting the Bill of Rights is to ensure that the rights provided for under the Bill of Rights have not been violated, so that if the court finds that a right has been violated, then the court can give a remedy, like for example compensation.
So what approach would you adopt in interpreting the Bill of Rights?
One, the law provides that the Constitution is supreme, and therefore in interpreting the Bill of Rights, I'll be guided by the Constitution as well as the other precedents from the superior courts.
Yes, I'll take that, but I would have expected you to include the development of the law and also breathing life and spirit into the Constitution. Let's move on. The High Court is said to be the most impactful within the hierarchy of the courts. I want you to give us 5 jurisdictions that make it so.
Thank you, Your Lordship. The first jurisdiction would be the appellate jurisdiction. The other one is constitutional interpretation. The other one is supervisory jurisdiction over the lower courts. I'm trying to remember the other two.
It's okay. I can take those 3. Actually, there are a whole 12 of them. We can move on. Justice Majanja.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
So this appellate jurisdiction, where is it derived?
The appellate jurisdiction is derived from Article 159 onwards, yes.
So is appellate jurisdiction specific or is it general?
I would say it is specific.
And why,
as per the law.
Why do you say it's specific?
Because all the decisions that come from the lower courts, they go to the Court of Appeal.
No, I'm saying the High Court appellate jurisdiction. So it appeals from subordinate courts.
Yes, Commissioner.
So I'm asking, is it specific or is it general? And why, if you say it's specific, why?
I would say it is specific, but again it depends with the matters that find themselves in the High Court.
Okay, like for example in criminal cases,
yes.
What can't you appeal against? Say, yes, what can't you appeal against in a criminal case?
What I know is that in a criminal case, you can appeal against sentence and conviction.
Conviction and sentence. That
yes.
is, who can appeal?
The accused person.
And what about the prosecution?
Indeed, even the ODPP can also appeal. They feel that probably the outcome was not satisfactory.
Okay. I want to ask you another question. In the Law of Succession Act, we have beneficiaries and dependents. What is the distinction between the two classes of people recognized?
Under the Law of Succession Act, dependents is anybody who can be able to prove that they were depending upon the deceased. But beneficiaries are those people who, as per the law, should benefit from the estate of the deceased.
And why is that distinction important?
Because I believe not everybody can be a beneficiary.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
I have gone through your sample writings, and I will ask with regards to one specific matter, the public inquest. Though in that inquest you did not make reference to any decided cases at the Superior Court. What does that tell us with regards to your writing style?
Thank you, Commissioner. I agree that indeed, in that matter, I did not make reference to any decision of the Supreme Court. But in the decision, I found to the specific provisions of the law. But again, from the other decisions that I've been able to attach, I have relied on the decisions of the Superior Court.
Okay. So what is your understanding of public inquest?
My understanding of public inquest is an inquiry that the public has interest on any matter.
What type of inquiry?
Where maybe somebody has died and it's not clear how that person died.
So what is the purpose of a public inquest?
Is to find out what caused the death of the deceased, and also to send a message to the public, because at times the public may have a perception which may not be correct. But I believe
so one is to determine the cause of death.
Yes, to determine the cause of death.
Yes, and then two, you're saying to send a message to the public. I would want to get further details about that.
Because the public may not, at the end of the day, the public may not know what caused the death of that person. But if an inquest is done, then the evidence will come out, and it will be clear to the public what caused the death of that person.
So one is, the same is linked to each other. So determine the cause of death. Any other?
Disseminate information to the public.
With regards to the cause of death?
Yes.
So it's still linked to the cause of death?
Yes.
Okay, the others is whether a crime was committed, and if there is any sufficient evidence that would warrant a prosecution.
Thank you.
So in this case, you did establish that the deceased died as a result of gunshot wounds. You remember the case?
Yes, I do.
You did establish that by a KWS officer. And number two, you also indicated that the likelihood of the person who may have caused the death was a KWS ranger.
Yes.
But you went ahead and said that the death was justifiable. Was it in your place to make that final determination in an inquest? You mentioned that the KWS have powers to use, let me just get to that particular provision.
So you even made reference to the Wildlife Conservation and Management Act, which as per your document, you said section 112, 13 and 4. So I'll read section 112.4.3. A member of the uniformed and disciplined cadre, after acquiring the requisite training and when authorized by the Director General, may use firearms for the following purposes: law enforcement, any person unlawfully hunting wildlife, self-defense, and others. So you concluded that the KWS Rangers acted within the law by firing at the deceased that caused his death. My question is that a proper determination for an inquest, or it is a court that should make that determination under a full trial?
Thank you for that question. My understanding, probably if I refer to that matter, the deceased was shot within the park, and that is evidence that came out. So I felt that it was my duty to, as from the evidence that was adduced, to determine what caused the death of the deceased, and that is the finding that I came up with.
Which I'm not faulting.
Yes.
The issue that I'm faulting is you going ahead and saying they used the KWS Rangers used the firearms within the ambits of the law.
Commissioner, why I found that is in relation to the section that I've quoted just before the determination. So that was my understanding of that section of the law. But if I'm wrong, I stand to be guided.
It's just an issue of the inquest. You're a judicial officer, you're supposed to make orders, but what are really the inquest had?
Thank you for that question. My response would be on the reverse, where, for example, if like, for example, I found that the deceased was shot in unclear circumstances, I believe I have the jurisdiction as per the law to make a recommendation, probably even to the AG, to take further action.
Yes, so in this particular case, you didn't do that. Was there justice for the deceased person in this particular case?
According to my determination, I did not find that a crime had been committed. So that is why I did not refer the matter to the AG.
You determined that there was death occasioned by a bullet
Sure.
of a KWS Ranger. So there was a death.
Yes, sure.
You determined it's a KWS Ranger or Rangers
Yes.
who were at the scene and they're the ones who caused the death.
Yes.
But you again now say the death was occasioned by them using the law as is required by them as uniformed officers. They are permitted by law to use excessive force.
No, they are not permitted by law to use excessive force, but a force that is reasonable. Because
Therefore, let me just read out to you. Therefore, it is my considered view that the three rangers, that shows you are able to identify the rangers who were there, that the three rangers acted lawfully in course of their duty to safeguard the wildlife, and in the circumstances I do not find any illegality and unlawfulness of their action.
yes, that was my finding.
And you find it, you think it's okay? Okay, thank
I
you.
stand by it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable CJ. Mr. Honorable Joanna Nyaga, I've read your sample writings.
Yes, Commissioner.
I'll not dwell much on them. It has been covered by my Honorable Commissioner, my colleague. But I happen to be interested in one decision.
Yes.
The decision of the election petition.
Yes.
Because I was in charge of the Judiciary Committee on Elections during the last election cycle.
Yes, Commissioner.
So I found that it was a very unique judgment you made, to be the longest judgment in an MCA matter. What is your experience in that case?
Thank you, Commissioner.
You wrote more than even the Supreme Court.
That was my first petition to handle. So I believe as I move on, I'll get more experience to ensure that.
What was your experience?
To ensure that.
Compared to the other cases?
The experience was that some of the witnesses were too lengthy, and there was quite a number of witnesses as well, and also a lot of material that was presented by the parties.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You believe you did a good job?
I believe I did a good job, but as I continue to learn, I'll ensure that probably to the point and precise.
Okay, now you have been based in Makindu for quite a long time, since 2022.
Since 2020.
Since 2020,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
That's over 3 years. What is the prevalent type of cases in that area?
I think, Commissioner, the prevalent cases are cases of defilement, sexual offences under the Sexual Offences Act.
Yes. Okay. What are the challenges regarding, you could recall that one of the objectives of the blueprint of the Honorable CJ, current CJ, the blueprint of the STAJ,
Yes.
is access to justice.
True.
What are the challenges that you have experienced in that area for those years?
Some of the challenges, Commissioner, long distance witnesses have to travel because the area is diverse. The other one is again the number of JUs that has number of judicial officers.
Yes.
That has somehow dragged some of those cases. And then also at times you find that witnesses do not turn up when you want to proceed with the matter.
Yes. What have you done to assist you as a judicial officer in that area, to assist in access to justice? The people of Makindu are very generous. They are very charitable. We know what happens at the mosque there, which assists poor people, the Sikh temple. So what have you done?
I can give an example, Commissioner. Like, for example, when we had the service month for the children, through the CUC, we were able to do some corrections and provide food stuff for the children who are coming to testify. Yes. Okay. And also give them priority.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. I have only one question for the Honorable Member. Now, would you explain to us what you understand by the independence and the interdependence relationship of the three arms of government? And why is it important to have an independent judiciary?
Thank you, Commissioner. It is important that the three arms of government be independent because I believe each plays a very important role towards the learning of the state. But again, it is important for the three arms of government also to depend upon each other. But that interdependence does not mean any of the state organs should encroach on the other. So as much as we are talking about being independent or interdependent, we should ensure that the three arms of government play their roles independently.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
I'll be very brief. I just want to have a brief discussion with you about your performance.
Okay.
I have your performance report from DPOP for the period 1st July 2023 to 31st December 2023. I believe you're supplied with a copy?
Yes, I was, Commissioner.
It's accurate, huh? You
Yes.
verified?
Yes, I have verified.
Okay, it's commendable that as a judicial officer in your station, you're contributing more to the resolved cases compared to your counterparts, and you are the head of station. This is the report from Makindu.
Sure.
You are the head of station.
I'm the head of station,
I think that's commendable that you are handling the administrative duties that usually a head of station has to manage, and also you're putting in a fair amount of work. Your performance is at 160%, which is also good. Now, the area I want to have a discussion with you is on the court productivity and also the case clearance rate.
Yes, yes.
They are both quite low, lower than the national average. Your court productivity is 231 against 299, the national average, and then case clearance 88 against 104. That means you're doing nothing to clear backlog. If anything, you're creating it at the rate of 22%. You know, is this 22 or 12? So, what does this tell you? We say statistics usually tell us something about what is happening in the background. What does this tell you?
Thank you, Commissioner. I will respond by saying that if you look at the workload at the station, the workload is quite high compared to the number of judicial officers. Because like last year, we had, for the last 2 years, we've been having about 4 judicial officers.
And the workload is?
Over 3,000.
What is the ratio of cases to jails currently from the DPOP statistics across the country?
Around 1,200?
Yes. So for 4 magistrates, 3,221 is not so bad. But anyway, yes. What does it tell you?
Probably we may not be working so much effectively.
Optimally.
Optimally, yes.
Yes, yes. So what do you propose to do about this?
It is important for us to perform at the end of the day because that is our core duty. And there are some factors that have contributed to that. Like, for example, at times transfers, whereby you find, like for example, most of the colleagues that were working there were transferred last year. So I have a new team. I have a new team of JOs. So probably before they get on track, I'll need to take them through mentoring and ensuring that we have meetings so that we can discuss performance.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That explains it. Thank you very much, and I wish you well.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you very much. The position you are seeking is a leadership position within the judiciary. You are aware of the role of the High Court, which includes also supervision. Can you tell us a bit about your leadership qualities? Are you a visionary leader or non-visionary? What do you also understand by transformative leadership?
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe I am a leader. From the experience that I've had, I've been able to head 4 court stations, and I also believe and I know that I'm a transformative leader, for the reason that I believe wherever I go, I want to leave the place better than the way I found it. And therefore, the performance from the stations that I've led demonstrate that I'm a transformative leader.
Can you give us maybe 2 or 3 achievements which can be attributed to you as a leader?
One of them is teamwork. Wherever I head, I make it a point to ensure that we work together as a team so that we can be able to deliver. Then stakeholder collaboration. I ensure that I bring on board other players in the justice system so that if there are any challenges, then we sit down, we deal with them.
Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Honorable CJ. Honorable Nyaga, as part of the recruitment process, we expected to carry out background checks for the candidates that appear before us, and you're also expected to do the same by clearing yourself with different government agencies. And maybe you could start by confirming if you've received clearance from the expected bodies.
Thank you, Commissioner. The only clearance that I have not been able to get is a certificate of good conduct. And
Why
then
is that the case?
I was not able to get it on time.
When did you apply for it?
About a week ago.
A week ago?
Yes.
And you knew it was a requirement to appear with it for this role? This is a role that you applied for last year.
True.
So what does that tell us about you?
I think it was an oversight on my part.
I think that shows that you're either not very committed or you're not interested, because I thought this is something you'd have had beginning of the year.
Commissioner, I'm very committed.
Okay. Now, what time are you expected to start your court sessions?
From 9 a.m.
From 9 a.m.
From 9 a.m.
And what time do you start? You're expected to start at 9.
Sure.
At what time do you start your sessions?
Okay, most of the time I endeavor to start at 9. By the times that I may start at around 9:30, depending on what has come up in the morning. Like for example, I may get officers from the headquarters, and being the end of the station, they will have to report to me. We could be having a discussion in the morning, so maybe because of that the court may start late. But most of the time I endeavor to start on time. And then again, the CUC, the LSK, because of some of the distance that has to be covered by the witnesses, we are understanding that at times we start at 9:30.
So the days you're not able to start your court sessions at 9 as is expected, what do you do about that?
I always communicate to the litigants.
Okay.
Yes.
The report we have is that you're very poor in time management, and on several occasions you start your sessions as late as 11 a.m. Any explanation to that?
I think that is not very true. If that has happened, maybe once, but not occasionally.
And do you have an explanation for when you started at 11?
At that time I had a medical issue, but I communicated to the litigants.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is it important for a judicial officer or a judge to conduct themselves in a manner in which to observe the way they conduct themselves socially?
It is very important as a judge for you to conduct yourself in the manner that is appropriate, because one, the decisions that you make have an impact in the society, and also you have to carry yourself with a lot of integrity.
When you say appropriate, in this sense, socially, what is appropriate to you?
Socially is what is acceptable, as in morally, what is acceptable.
Okay.
Yes.
In the same report, we've also, it's alleged that you've been spotted in social entertainment joints, socially mingling with people in your area of jurisdiction. What do you have to say about that?
That is not true.
You don't engage socially in the area of Makindu?
I rarely do that. I don't.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. That's all from me. Honorable CJ.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioners and Honorable Nyaga, for this engagement this afternoon. I think this brings us to the end of the interview, and on behalf of the Commissioners, I thank you for availing yourself for this interview. Before we end, we always give a candidate an opportunity to ask us a question.
Thank you, my lord, my lordship. Mine is not a question, but a comment.
Yes.
I have appeared before the commission quite a number of times, and as we are talking about transformation in the judiciary, I want to say that indeed I have seen a lot of transformation positively from this commission. One, in terms of conducting these interviews. There are times previously that
not alone, but we appreciate that we have made remarkable progress in terms of respecting the candidates. We wish you well. We recognize the huge responsibility bestowed upon you as the end of station. So we send you back with our greetings, and we will get in touch with you when we complete this exercise. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, my lady.
Even if you don't get the
And
job or you get the job, please remain focused in serving the people in the responsibility that
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Caroline Zilani. I'm a Commissioner. Karibu.
Asante. Good afternoon, David Majanja, Judge and Commissioner.
Good afternoon, my Lord, and thank you.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners, for that introduction. Council, the honorable members will be engaging you on your application for the position of a judge that you have made, so they'll be asking you questions. We can begin by asking you to confirm your county.
Marida, I come from Tharaka-Nithi County.
Tharaka-Nithi. Your ethnicity?
I am Tharaka.
Tharaka. Thank you very much. The Honourable Vice Chair will start us off.
All right. Now, just a few questions. Now, first and foremost, you, as the Honourable Chief Justice, has observed, you were here with us previously when you applied for the same position, and I think I owe it to you on behalf of the Commission to indicate that you performed well. It's only that the positions were limited, and because of the balancing, you didn't make it. So it's not out of, lack of good skills or anything wrong with you. You actually performed well.
Thank you very much.
For purpose of this interview, the fact that you've come the second time is a testimony to the fact that you have some burning desire to join the judiciary.
That is true.
You need to explain to the Commission what is this burning desire, what informs it, and you be very specific, maybe even to incidences that you'll be able to point out as evidence of that desire to join the judiciary.
Thank you, Commissioner. It is true that I am passionate, very passionate, to join the judiciary and to serve the people of Kenya in the capacity of Judge of the High Court of Kenya. And part of the reason, the mic this way, all right. It looks like that way. Yes, it did. So I was saying that I'm really passionate to join the bench and contribute my fair share in the delivery of justice to the people of Kenya, and also contribute to the development of the law. I have been in practice for 29 years now. 8 of those years, my lady and commissioners, have been spent partly in public service. First as a member of the Industrial Property Tribunal, and for 3 years, from the year 2016 to 2019, and from 2019, I was appointed as a chair of the Industrial Property Tribunal, and that appointment was renewed in the year 2022. And I think it's time that I close over fully and contribute, because I have had one foot in private practice and another foot in public service. And I think I would contribute more if I was fully engaged as a member of the judiciary. I know there have been a lot of developments, and since the introduction of the 2010 Constitution, and I know the place of the judiciary is a hallowed one in the defense of the rights of the citizenry. And if I'm granted an opportunity, I would contribute my humble share as a person who was educated largely at public expense, at public schools, I think it's time that I came and give back to this society a portion of my life. We sit as 5 members. And I've learned to improve my interpersonal relations skills, people skills, so that then I can guide the tribunal in a manner that will then help us achieve our goal in expeditious delivery of justice. The other skills I have learned is proper time management and active case management. Marine and commissioners, the rules relating to the practice at the Industrial Property Tribunal are very generous in terms of the timelines for filing of pleadings. Unlike in ordinary courts where one is required to respond, say, within 14 days after being served. In our case, one is required to respond after 45 days. And once they file their response, the other party is also given another 45 days to file a reply, if any. Or if they are not filing a reply, then they file evidence in form of statutory declarations within another 45 days. And the respondent will also be required to file, after service, to file their statutory declarations containing the evidence after another 45 days. So this has proved a big challenge in getting a turnaround before close of pleadings and the matter is ready for hearing. It takes within which to comply. And once they comply, then we give a date for hearing. Because of that intervention, we have managed to clear the backlog at the Industrial Property Tribunal, and all the cases now that we are handling for the current year are within 1 year. Those cases that were filed in 2023. And even those ones, in fact, we have concluded 2 of them, and the others are lined up for conclusion.